んにちは。皆様、毎日元気にお過ごしのことと思います。こうやって画面越しではありますが、ご挨拶できることを幸せに思います。このおじさん改造講座は、会社で地道に働いている私たち OL が身の回りの細かいことを寄せ集めて作りました。参加した OL は全国に1000人。塵が積もって山になりました。私たちの日常をお見せできたらいいなと思っています。楽しんでいただけるといいなって思っています。
He does not know what he is. He wakes up early, but he does not know what to do. The day is set into motion when he turns on the machine. That other window that offers a far greater view, he does not know what he is, a consumer or a creator or simply an animal. He is nothing but a path through a landscape. He is one among many, but he remains alone.
In the 1970s, Raymond Williams coined the concept of flow in television studies. He wrote that it is evident that what is now called an evening's viewing is in some ways planned by providers and then by viewers as a whole, that it is in any event planned in discernible sequences which in this sense override particular program units. Whenever there is competition between television channels, this becomes a matter of conscious concern to get viewers in at the beginning of a flow. Individual programs are glued together with ads so as to create a kind of fluid viewing experience, leading to a shift from the concept of sequence as programming to the concept of flow. This sequence is designed to optimize television's built-in automatism. The viewer is set on a linear path from one program to the next and will only disrupt the sequence if they feel their experience could be improved by switching to a different channel or turning the television off altogether. And so it is in the network's best interest to design the sequence in such a way as to minimize potential disruption, keep the audience hooked. This is a profoundly different conception of programming compared to previous forms of entertainment. Williams writes that in all communication systems before broadcasting, the essential items were discrete. A book or a pamphlet was taken and read as a specific item. A meeting occurred at a particular date and place. A play was performed in a particular theater at a set hour. The difference in broadcasting is not only that these events, or events resembling them, are available inside the home by the operation of a switch. It is that the real program that is offered is a sequence or set of alternative sequences of these and other similar events which are then available in a single dimension and in a single operation. What is it then that has been decisively altered? A broadcasting program on sound or television is still formally a series of timed units. What is published as information about the broadcasting services is still of this kind. We can look up the time of a particular show or program. We can turn on for that item. We can select and respond to it discreetly. Yet for all the familiarity of this model, the normal experience of broadcasting, when we really consider it, is different. And indeed, this is recognized in the ways we speak of watching television, listening to the radio, picking up on the general rather than the specific experience.
By flipping through the channels, he creates his own flow, curates his own media environment. This is the new art. Everything at his fingertips, he pieces together a collage of those objects that speak to his sensibilities. It is an art of taste, of gradual refinement, that is the condition of modern man, to be free to navigate through that endless ocean of all creation with the click of a mouse, perhaps lacking the depth of insight and comprehension of those ancients whose erudition was the result of a long and sturdy tradition, but with a sublime superficiality, gliding over mankind's great works like ruins that he may pick at, adding to his personal miscellanea. Like a modern désessant, he encloses himself in a mausoleum of media. As Wiesmans once wrote, already he had begun dreaming of a refined Thebaid, a comfortable desert, a sedentary ark in which he might take refuge from the incessant deluge of human stupidity.
Gegenstände in Beziehung zu anderen Gegenständen. Gegenstände in Zusammenstellung, in einer Komposition. Die Idee scheint auf, die Dinge könnten ein System für sich bilden. Ihre Beziehungen untereinander könnten Regeln folgen, ähnlich denen einer Sprache. Auch die Sprache ist vom Menschen gemacht und muss doch so mühsam erforscht werden wie eine Gegebenheit der Natur. Aber um mit Dingen etwas auszudrücken, dafür finden sich keine Satzbauregeln. Auch kann man den Gegenständen keine Eigenschaftsworte voran- oder nachstellen. Anders als den Wörtern sind den Gegenständen die Eigenschaften eingeschrieben, nicht zugeschrieben. Bei den Wörtern wissen wir nicht, wie ihnen der Gebrauch anhaftet, der zuvor von ihnen gemacht wurde. Haftet er ihnen an wie ein Geruch? Hat er sie durchtränkt wie ein Konservierungsstoff? Oder strahlt er um sie wie ein Magnetfeld? Die Gegenstände schließen ihre Eigenschaften in sich ein, verkörpern sie. Die Weintraube das Bereifte, die Metallkanne das Speckige, der Käse das Mürbe. Da ist ein Kontinuum von Stoff und Idee. Die Abbildungskunst rückt in die Nähe der Alchemie. Die Alchemie suchte nach den irreduziblen Qualitäten einer Sache. Nach einer alchemistischen Auffassung ist Gold eine Kombination von Gelbheit, spezifischem Gewicht, Biegsamkeit, Formbarkeit und so fort. Könnte man einem Element all diese Eigenschaften induzieren, hätte man Gold. Im 17. Jahrhundert, in der Hochzeit der Stilllebenmalerei, kam die neuzeitliche Naturwissenschaft auf. Ihre Erkenntnisse wurden zur Grundlage der ungeheuren Vermehrung der Gegenstände. Für jedes Bedürfnis, für jede Not soll es einen Gegenstand geben, der Abhilfe schafft, so wie jeder Tag seinen Schutzheiligen hat. Die neue Naturwissenschaft, sie gab den Versuch auf, Gold herzustellen. Die Abbildungskunst nicht. Sie sucht nach einer Wahrheit in der Erscheinung.
And now, a reading of a text by Marcel Proust. Take a young man of modest means with artistic taste, sitting in the family dining room at that commonplace, dreary moment before the table has been completely cleared. His imagination full of the glory of museums, cathedrals, the sea, the mountains. He looks with distaste and boredom, with a sensation approaching disgust, a feeling not far from depression, at one last knife lying next to an underdone, unsavory cutlet on a half-removed tablecloth that drags on the floor. A ray of sunshine, a lighting on the sideboard, resting gaily on a glass of water, still nearly full after having quenched someone's thirst, accentuates as cruelly as an ironic laugh the everyday banality of this unaesthetic sight. At the other end of the room, the young man sees his mother already settled down to her work, slowly unwinding, with her customary calm, a skein of red wool, and behind her, perched on a cupboard, next to a porcelain platter reserved for company, a compact fat cat seems like the petty evil genius of this scene of domestic mediocrity. The young man looks away. His eyes fall on the brilliant, highly polished silver platters, and down below them on the flaming andirons. Even more irritated by the order than by the disorder of the room and the table, he envies those men of wealth and taste who move only among beautiful objects in rooms where everything, from the tongs to the doorknob, is a work of art. He curses these ugly surroundings, ashamed of having spent a quarter of an hour experiencing not so much a sense of shame as disgust and a sort of fascination. He gets up, and if he cannot take a train to Holland or to Italy, goes to the Louvre to look for the visions of palaces à la Varonaise, princes à la Van Dyck, harbors à la Claude Lorrain, which, in the evening, will serve only to aggravate the dullness of the young man's return to the daily in its familiar surrounding. If I knew this young man, I should not try to prevent his going to the Louvre, rather I should accompany him. But leading him through the Lacaze Gallery and through the Gallery of 18th Century French Painting, or through the Rubens or some other French gallery, I would have him stop in front of the Chardins. And once he was dazzled by this rich painting of what he calls mediocrity, this zestful painting of a life that he finds tasteless, this great art depicting a subject that he considers mean, I would say to him, "This makes you happy, doesn't it? Yet what more have you seen here than a well-to-do middle-class woman pointing out to her daughter the mistakes she has made in her tapestry work, a woman carrying bread, the interior of a kitchen where a cat is trampling on some oysters while a dead fish hangs on the wall, and an already half-cleared sideboard on which some knives are scattered on the cloth, and even less impressive, some kitchen or dining room dishes, not only pretty ones like Dresden chocolate pots, but a shiny lid, all shapes and kinds of pots, sights that repel you like a dead fish sprawled on a table, and sights that disgust you like half-emptied glasses and too many glasses left full. If all of this now seems to you beautiful to look at, it is because Chardin found it beautiful to paint. The pleasure you get from his painting of a room in which women are sewing, of a pantry, a kitchen, a sideboard, is the pleasure he felt and caught in passing, isolated in time, deepened, immortalized, when he looked at a sideboard, a kitchen, a pantry, a room in which women were sewing. Had you not already been unconsciously experiencing the pleasure that comes from looking at a humble scene or a still life, you would not have felt it in your heart when Chardin, in his imperative and brilliant language, conjured it up. Your consciousness was too inert to descend to his depth. Your awareness had to wait until Chardin entered into the scene to raise it to his level of pleasure. Then you recognized it and, for the first time, appreciated it. If, when you look at a Chardin, you can say to yourself, this is intimate, this is comfortable, this is as living as a kitchen, then, when you are walking around a kitchen, you will say to yourself, this is special, this is great, this is as beautiful as a Chardin.
Das Wort Fetisch, ursprünglich eine portugiesische Prägung, kam im 17. Jahrhundert, zur großen Zeit der Stillleben, in die Niederlande. Seefahrer berichteten von den Küsten Afrikas, es gäbe dort Kulte, nach denen willkürlich gewählte Gegenstände wie Gottheiten verehrt würden. Fetische, Dinge, die etwas Göttliches sind und nicht nur bedeuten. 3 Jahrhunderte später, 1906, schreibt Marcel Mauss, der Begriff Fetisch muss endgültig aufgegeben werden, er entspricht nichts Bestimmtem. Die Europäer, die Reformierten voran, sie wiesen es weit von sich, dass einem Gegenstand eine göttliche Kraft zukommen könnte. Sie umgaben sich mit zunehmend mehr Gegenständen und mussten fürchten, dabei zu Heiden zu werden. Vor allem, die Dinge sollen keinen Glaubenswert haben, sondern einen Marktwert. Wie soll man auf den Glauben einen Welthandel bauen? Die Dinge sollen einen Wert haben, nach dem man sie verrechnen kann. Eine Menge von seltenen Früchten gegen venezianisches Glas. Venezianisches Glas gegen eine Schale aus chinesischem Porzellan. und so fort. Für den Handel müssen die Dinge etwas bedeuten, nicht sein. Es ist der Wahrheit nicht mehr zuzumuten, selbst zu erscheinen.
Heidegger names Gestell, or inframing, the mode of modern man's relation to the natural world and its beings. It is a way in which beings reveal themselves to us, a frame of mind. He believes that inframing is the essence of technology, or at least, the modern technological condition. This mode of being makes objects appear to us as resources to be exploited, as what he calls a standing reserve, rather than beings endowed with their own mode of revelation. In short, things come to be known only insofar as they can be measured. For Heidegger, the beauty or truth of art lies precisely in its ability to represent, or represent, objects or beings in such a way as to reveal a different side of them, one not geared toward their potential utility in our scientifically minded, technological modernity. In essence, art defamiliarizes beings. It lets us see them anew again. Gives the spectator a novel approach to understanding being.
Networks of services and communications are the means for the use of the land. The cities stand as the nuts of the network. We can imagine always larger zones of the Earth being developed, homogeneous and inhabitable. We can imagine a network of energy and information that makes life possible according to new models. The grid, when activated, creates a situation of Cartesian plan in which every point is described by the intersection of two straight lines, which is, of course, to be understood not only in the physical sense, but as a visual verbal metaphor for an ordered and rational distribution of resources.
Schließlich bezeugen die Gegenstände ihre Hersteller, die im Akt der Hervorbringung etwas von der eigenen Person enthüllen. Die Hersteller erscheinen aber nicht mit ihrem Gegenstand. Schaut man auf die Dinge, so bleiben die Menschen, die sie herstellen, unvorstellbar. Der Betrachter, der das auffasst, wird sich selbst unvorstellbar. Das ist der Ausgang zu einem neuen Menschenbild.